Okay, we're going to restring my guitar and give it a clean. As you can see, it's very dusty, bit grimy all along the fretboard. I've been neglectful to this guitar. It's the only guitar I play. I have other guitars. Well, this one's the only one I play. Bit of dust there. She's a beautiful sounding guitar. Big dusty headstock there. Yeah, the strings, they're just a little bit too dull now. I kind of like dull strings. Gives a nice bassiness on this acoustic, on this guitar. But yeah, they're gone too dull, and I tried to do a bit of recording, and I was so happy with the record. It sounded beautiful. It had basically just two guitars, one in the left ear, one in the right ear. They were both this guitar, and I was so happy with how the recording came out. But then it was only when I showed my wife that she literally grimaced when she heard how scratchy and scrapey the strings were when I moved my hands to change a chord. If you know what I'm talking about, if you're a guitarist, or no, I'm not sure, obviously. I don't know who I'm talking to here, but I hope you're well. But yeah, when you move your hand along the fretboard, it makes a shh kind of sound, and it was excruciating. So yeah, I'm gonna restring this, and tomorrow I'll re-record that track. Yeah, I started off there going to take the top string off with my hand, but I went into the other room and rooted out this little gadget. Don't know what you call them, but string winder maybe. But yeah, they're very good for just getting the string off quick. I have a left and right microphone here, so if you're wearing headphones, I'll be going from the left ear to the right ear. I'm a big fan of ASMR, have been since the early days of ASMR, when it was a weird thing you'd be afraid to tell people you liked. I liked it for years until I had like a conversation with one of my friends a couple of years after I got into it, and be kind of sheepish, like, yeah, ASMR, you like that? And embarrassed that we like it, but nothing to be embarrassed about. Love ASMR. I thought I'd make a kind of ASMR style video. I don't know if you'd call this an ASMR video, because it's a bit noisy. You can hear the computer fan and all. I bought this guitar. Excuse my voice, I have a bit of a cold. I bought this guitar a few years ago in the town I lived in, London. Well, I lived in Surrey, really, south of London. It just sounds cooler when I say I lived in London. Yeah, I got it in Sutton Music, I believe the name of the shop was, and I got it for £100, and we were friends from day one. This guitar and I, love at first sight. I filled with its G string, and that sealed the deal. But the G string was tuned to F at the time, so who knows what the story is there. You see my wedding ring there, actually. There's a little guitar string inside that. Yeah, you can see all along the fretboard there, it's horrible. It's all gunky. Manky, man. I'm ashamed of how I just called this guitar my friend, you know, and I haven't even washed it in a long time. I usually like to wash my friends often, you know. Go for a few pints with one of the lads and give him a sponge bath in the canal on the way home. Customary. But yeah, it's a cheap Tanglewood guitar. It's based off old 1940s like blues guitars, as far as I know. But it's a lovely sound off it. There's real depth in it. It has a lot of bass in it. There's real kind of, you know, bottom end in it. Yeah, this little gadget here, you can just pluck up the... See, I'm playing guitar 20, 21, 22 years, I think. Since I'm 9, I think. And I'm still shit at changing strings. I don't enjoy changing strings. However, I enjoyed changing the strings in this video because it forced me to relax and do it. Usually I get it done in 5 minutes. Through a lot of sweat and pain and tears. But 20 years of suffering, I realised you can actually just relax and do it. Maybe you can relax and do most things. Who knows? But you can see all the lovely markings on the guitar, all the dings and hits over the years. They say that gives character to dings and scratches and dents, markings. But this guitar was born with character. It just ages like the rest of us. Gets little scars here and there, little wrinkles. Quite a young guitar, I'd say, but wisdom beyond its years. Sounds very wise. Wiser than the guy who plays it, anyways. He caused all the dings and scratches over the years. So, I'm looking at the Tanglewood website here. This exact model of guitar. So, it's a Tanglewood Crossroads TWCRD. It's an acoustic guitar, as I'm sure you can see. It's a dreadnought. That's the shape of it. The kind of circular, rounded shape. Other guitars you might get a cutaway that'll have a little chunk taken out, so you can go up and play all the fancy solo stuff at the top of the guitar. The top of the guitar is hand selected mahogany, so they didn't select it with their feet, they selected it with their hands. The back is made of mahogany. Doesn't say anything about that being hand selected though. It's just mahogany. So the mahogany must have selected itself one can guess. The sides of the guitar are made of, you guessed it, mahogany. The fingerboard, or the fretboard as I like to call it, is made of teak wood. The bridge is also made of teak wood. Strings, bronze light. Bronze light, and no electronics. So, what I'm gonna do here is use a bit of piss to clean it. Properties of urine is quite good for guitars. Doesn't taste very nice though. No, it's just lemon, a bit of lemon juice and a bit of water. And I'm just dipping a face cloth into it. Now, there's a zip attached to that face cloth. And I could very easily scratch the guitar. I didn't though. But I got it free with a set that someone bought me for Christmas. Yeah, now, I am not a professional when it comes to cleaning guitars or anything to do with guitars. I just really like guitars. So, if there is someone watching that knows guitars, I'm probably doing something very wrong here, but I've always cleaned guitars like this. And it's never done me any harm. Always freshens up the guitar, gives it a nice shine. It's lovely putting new strings on a guitar and just cleaning up the guitar. I find it can give you a lot of inspiration to write new songs. It feels like a new guitar again, or it feels like it just had a good rest or a good haircut, or the guitar's happy, you know. The guitar had a massage, it had a clean, it had a pamper, it had all that stuff. So the guitar starts singing after you clean it and put new strings on. Be an awful shame to just put new strings on and not clean it. Because when you take the strings off, you can get to hard to reach places, especially on the top of the guitar, on the headstock, where all the tuning pegs are. I know it's quite wasteful to take off all 6 strings and put on full new 6 strings, but I got such good use out of them. Those strings have been on this guitar for too long now. I'd say they've been on it for a year. Should have changed them a while ago. The last thing I recorded on these strings is a song that I put out called Fish Out of Bowl, and I didn't have the issue with the scratching strings on that song because it's just one chord and my hand stays in the same place for that song, so you didn't get any of the screeching, scratching sounds. As I record this, I have another song coming out called Bird Song. That should be out quite soon. My lovely wife is crafting the video for me at the moment, and I love it. She's a very artistic woman, my wife. Here's the strings I'm using. The Dario 8020 bronze. Apparently they're deep, bright, and greater projecting tone. The gauge is 13 being the lowest gauge. It's basically the size of the string. The very bottom string skinniest string, the high E string, that is 13, and the chunky boy at the top, the low E string, that's 56. I believe it's recommended to, when we were reading the site, it was recommended to put light strings in this light gauge, but I kind of ignore all that. I like the medium ones, they sound a bit nicer. We'll go back and read the rest of the site. So there's a little blurb here about the guitar. So it's a Crossroads guitar. It says Crossroads, the concept. The Crossroads series pays homage to the style and sound of classic instruments from 1930s America. Michael Sandon selected the timbres, making the tops a precise measurement so they flex and respond to the player's attack. He then braced the instrument with his own patterns to give each guitar its own personality. He wanted to make a guitar that would have the sound that any musician, professional or amateur could appreciate. To make the guitar look authentic to the 1930s era, Michael added a dark stain to the timbers that we call whiskey barrel to make the Crossroads look historic and simply elegant. So you basically, you ever do that in school? Get a sheet of A4 paper and you get a tea bag and wet it and rub it on the A4 paper, and it comes out different shades of brown and yellow. Then you call it Egyptian papyrus paper, ancient paper that you would find in a tomb or a museum. I don't know where you find it, but sounds like that's what he done with his guitars. And we just about have 2 strings on. The pin on your left, my right, keeps popping out when I'm trying to put this string on. But we get there in the end. When you put a new guitar string on, you need to stretch it. You stretch it and tune it back up. Stretch it, tune it back up. A lot of guitarists, you find them complaining. They say, oh, I just put new strings on and I won't stay in tune. That's because they didn't stretch their strings. So basically the way I would string this up, I put the top 2 strings on first. Well, the 2 strings on the top when you're looking at it. They call the top strings the bottom strings on guitar. So the small skinny ones on the bottom, they call them the top strings and the high strings, but it's all very confusing to me. So the top strings are the ones that are actually at the top, in my mind. So I put them 2 on first, then I put the 2 bottom ones on. Apparently it can help with the tension on the guitar. There's serious tension when you tighten up those strings. it's really pulling your guitar. It's stressing that guitar. The guitars are built to withstand that pressure. I explained all that very badly, but who cares? Yeah, so we have all the strings on. I'm just roughly tuning it. I don't have a tuner with me. But yeah, I'm just getting it in tune so it's playable. And there we have the new strings. Right, I actually went out to the shed. Forgot to bring a torch with me because there's no light in my shed. And I dug around, stuck my hand in the big toolbox in the dark and found this thing. It's for cutting branches, but it's all I could find in the dark. I wouldn't recommend putting your hand into a toolbox in pitch black and rooting around. That's why women usually live longer than men. But yeah, I got myself a good pliers then, or a wire snipper, whatever they're called. I don't know. I'm not a very manly man when it comes to tools. I can use them. I just don't know what the name of them are. You know? And there we have it. Guitar is serviced. Happy guitar. Happy guitarist. That's a little riff of mine. And I shall leave you with that.